this overlay thing is small. Let me make it bigger so people. We're live, by the way. Boom. Right on time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ranting hour. Thank you, phone, for telling me it's 8 o'clock. We rant for at least an hour about stuff that doesn't make it in my videos. Today is special because we are starting off the debate hour. I received 2 requests, and I'm going to be talking to 2 people about 2 specific things, so stay tuned for that. I got some stuff to get out the way. Tonight, I am joined by Ink Welder. Ink, how are we doing?
Work sucks, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the fact that I haven't had tacos in at least 72 hours, and that is a severe drought in the Ink Welder household.
I feel that. Nidre, what up with you? Damn, I didn't think today.
I'm just really excited for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to come out.
Yes, boys, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, let's go!
You guys hate British people, but you just love the most British game on earth.
Shut up. Shut up. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is already Game of the Year, so what a day to be a Xenoblade fan. We are simping. And Neclord, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'll add something to the simp pile, because it may have gone under the radar for some of you, but Live Alive is a huge one.
Yeah, I've been, people who know that game are like hyped for it, so it's probably either really good or really bad.
It's really good. I can tell you now.
Xeno Chads, we won. I'm happy to see all the Xenoblade Chads in the chat. Let's go. Trash Almighty, I've been talking to him on Twitter all day. We've been just hyping each other back and forth. Follow me on Twitter, by the way. Anywho, before we get started, whether you're watching live or catching the VOD, do me a favor, like the video, helps out a ton. If you're watching the VOD, go ahead and comment. Jesus, I can't read. If you want to become a member, you can do that for $1. You get emotes, and I always reply to your comments on YouTube. And yeah, so I wanted to talk about Abyss, and I want to talk about Equinox because those were cool things that happened this week. But we do have some housework to do, so let's change Discord scenes, shall we? For Clown of the Week. So if you watch my Ali Say Kai's video, you probably know where this is going. All right, how do I turn this on? Come on, OBS. There we go. Ooh. So I got a comment on a banner that I couldn't have possibly predicted coming. Isn't this little bit late? And I explained in the beginning of the video that I was a little bit busy, so that's why the video's a bit later, but I got this comment anyways, right? So, I mean, even that, you couldn't possibly have known this banner was coming, right? Anywho. He called it redundant. I got called childish for saying your mother, for someone who couldn't possibly sit through a 10... I keep my videos short, and this man couldn't even watch it. But apparently, he hadn't considered the fact that maybe some people might be on the fence about a banner a day after the event is gone. So surprisingly, I don't know. And then he tried to frame it as I can't take criticism. Y'all know me. I air out my wrongness all the time. I listen to my comments. I talk to y'all. I try and improve all the stuff. But I'm the one who can't take criticism because I couldn't see his point of view. Yikes. Anyways, that went on. It wasn't disrespectful, even though he didn't intend it to be. And you know what? To be fair, that's completely valid. You might not intend disrespect when you say something disrespectful. So there's that. I gave him that. But most people cleared it, are looking towards the next banner and event. That's just a complete bastardization of getting in people's minds. And if it's not, the video is obviously not for those people, right? Something to think about. Not everybody does everything immediately. I sometimes take days to do stuff in JP. What's to say that people aren't doing that? But again, this guy is unable to think beyond his frame of reference. Then he called me mad, just for calling out his bullshit, right? Defensive, for some strange reason. And he didn't mean anything by it. You know, he just said some bullshit. He kept going with the bullshit, but he didn't mean it. And he started backpedaling, obviously, because he got called out. I don't know why people don't know by now. They get called out for saying dumb shit in my comments. But, grow up, get some thick skin. You are a fragile dude, but then you could be a girl by your actions thus far. The casual sexism. This guy definitely has not gotten laid a day in his life. Oh my god. You must be a girl because you were responding to something. I don't even know where he was going with this one. So I asked him again, what should I have done, oh wise one? And he said I could have done the video in advance, or even multiple, because I'm a JP player, you know, and JP players have the ability to understand global exclusive banners. I should just guess. I should waste my time guessing and making inaccurate videos, even though I base my videos around the banner. I should guess, potentially get it wrong, and then have to redo it later or put out bad information. This guy is not a content creator, and he really shouldn't be. He went on some insane rant afterwards, and I just handed him an L afterwards. But yeah, that I don't know what's wrong with this dude. So he's clown of the week. He's no longer subscribed to my channel. Goodbye, bozo. All right.
I mean, I feel like it was also pulling teeth to get this guy to like actually provide something productive as criticism. Right?
Yeah, because I was like, what should I? That's the one thing. Like, if people are getting on you about something, ask them what you should have done better, and you get responses like that. Because almost certainly it's never anything like reasonable.
Honestly, I think the saddest part is that they very clearly aren't trolling. That's really disappointing.
Yeah, he meant it. He meant all that. Ah, damn it! I forgot to give the last screenshot. But he said from my very first comment to my explanation, you are suffering from yes man syndrome and anger management issues. Wow, that was something.
This has been a theme in some of the interactions you've had this week, because I remember the screenshots you were showing today, where somebody was like, "Why are you getting so mad all the time?" How does he know you're getting mad?
Yeah, exactly. How do you know? Like, I'm usually not like a bunch of like pasty weirdos on the internet don't get me mad. Just because I call you out in your shit doesn't mean I'm mad. It's just like telling it like it is. It turns out people can be serious about something and not angry. But I mean, maybe it's just like a lack of emotional intelligence these guys have in common. I don't know. But they assume like that they're mad, the angry black man. I mean, he assumed I was an angry black girl apparently. So I mean, there's a lot to read into there.
It's a serious insult to females.
Yeah, right? He definitely has not gotten
ultra disrespect.
Yeah. What? I don't know. But yeah, a reminder that Idiot of the Week is for people that, like, even if he disagreed with me or even he took his L, I would have left it alone. But then he started insulting me, and that's how you get Idiot of the Week. So just, if you're going to insult me, at least make it a good insult. Damn, I was about to make a joke about Navarre, but I forgot it. Oh, it'll come back to me later. Casually, yeah. I don't know. YouTube comments be wildin', bro. Anywho, now I'm going to attempt to switch over to the debate hour. So I'm going to leave you guys in this channel while I jump around. Chat, please bear with me because I have tried to set up the scenes and stuff. Yeah, so be right back, guys. Okay, and if I jump over to, haha, there we go. You like this? Let me make sure we're ready to get my guy over here. Give me 1 minute. Hope you're looking at Discord. What is this? This is me being creative. I wish I could. Okay, let's get him in here. All right, welcome to the debate hour, Mr. DK. How are you doing tonight? We are live. Hello. If you're talking, I can't hear you. I'm not gonna play copyrighted music on stream, guys. I'm not cross. I'm not gonna get my stuff taken down one day because I'm playing other people's music. DK, are you there? You're in the. We were talking earlier. We did a mic test. You were fine there. What changed? If you're not around, I might have to go bump a TreeVoid up for now. Oh, this is underwhelming. Uh-oh. You jump back? All right. The show goes on. TreeVoid, we are live. Can you hear? TreeVoid? Is this on me? Am I? Oh, what? What is going on? Uh-oh. See, this is what I was talking about. Maybe I messed up the permissions. I might have messed up the permissions. This might be on me. Let's see, connect. Oh,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Okay.
Wait, I'm stuck in Discord settings. Uh-oh. All right, we good now?
I think so.
All right, cool. Were you good earlier? Were you just muted or something?
No. I don't know what happened either.
Oh, okay. It might have been me messing up Discord stuff. Anyways, welcome. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am existing. Kaiden says if you're pulling them into chat, if some roles can't chat. Oh, you know, that might have been it. That might have been my bad. All right, we'll figure it out. That's on me, but this is why we're doing stuff. I hope you guys like the music. It's copyright free still. So your topics were, let's knock them out one by one. You wanted to talk about how Crevasse separates the average player from the hardcore player because they're more likely to go for max score. Is that correct? All right. Do you mind explaining your viewpoint?
Sure. Because I know when I say that, it sounds like a bad thing.
Actually, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt. But first, let's define what a hardcore player is.
Sure. Well, there's actually like 3 different hardcores, but in this particular case,
Yes, I need you to give.
I'm referring more in terms of hardcore in place of skill. Because there's your skill place players and there's your gear place players. I'm saying that wrong. Gear based players.
All right, what's a skill based player and what's a gear based player?
You come in, you have the people, or you come in, you buy Tifa or whoever the latest ingredient at the time, you crush the content because you have whatever it is that Equinox is trying to give you at the time.
So gear-based players are running strong meta units. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So they're not. Okay, gotcha. And then what is a skill-based player?
Theologica. Someone who can take different combinations.
Theologica and shit, dude. I'm kidding.
But yeah, people who aren't going with the meta, who are being creative and finding those new solutions to whatever monster of the week, whatever.
So let's recap. So hardcore players are those that are clearing. So what's the overall definition of a hardcore player you're going for here?
So, at the heart of it, Mino.
Okay, I need you to give a definition, not an example.
Right. A player who seeks out those challenges in the game.
Player who seeks out challenges. And what is a challenge in this context?
In this context, it would be, trying to get the most out of the game. Hitting whatever the highest difficulty is, trying to actually, not just by, taking the easy buttons, whatever they are at the time, but trying to, like I said, seek out those different combinations and different ways of doing things in the game. So
by that definition, would that exclude the gear-based players you were mentioning earlier? So the people, are people who are using top meta stomp stuff, are they hardcore players?
They can be. It's like I said, there's different types of hardcore, but in this particular case, it would be
focus on this case,
right? In this particular case, it would depend on how much they're seeking out that challenge, because a lot of people play this game for either easy fun, or they play it for just get the stuff. But if they were trying to go above and beyond that, they might try to use the meta units first, or they might just simply go out from a skill reason. But the people who feel that they should have everything in the game, as opposed to here's what's in front of me and enjoying that.
Okay. This definition is a bit all over the place. It's getting hard to keep up. I'm trying to take notes, but I need you to stay focused on what is hardcore in context of Crevasse.
So the average for this game is they put a baddie in front of you and you beat it.
Yes.
Okay. So then people add on challenges like zero turning, a few turns as possible, cutting out certain units, stuff like that.
Right.
Those people are the people that I'm sort of working with in terms of saying hardcore, because it's not just, the average player can come through and just beat the content or etc. But those hardcore people add those additional things to create that challenge.
So simply getting all the rewards does not make you hardcore.
Not particularly.
You got to. You got to stick to something. You can't. You can't keep weasel.
Right.
We got to. We need a definition because I can't debate it something that has a fluid definition. You feel me?
Sorry. Seeking. Yeah. So for the sake of it, seeking everything there is, not just like all the rewards, because that's the big thing about Crevasse is that there is something more than all the rewards. Like I said, if you're zero turning, that's more than just getting all the rewards. Those different challenges that you're being put in, that you're creating, that you're establishing for yourself, those are all on top of getting all the rewards.
Okay. But this is only for. So going above and beyond it does. It's starting to sound like it's.
The game gives you. Yes.
So you're going beyond just getting the win. That's
Correct.
what you define as hardcore in general.
Yes.
Okay. And so, does it track that you are not you do not go above and beyond? Okay, let me run this back one. So your original point was Crevasse separates the average from the hardcores because they're more likely to go for the max score. So, are you saying that if someone did not go for max score in Crevasse, they are not a hardcore player?
No.
Okay.
But it provides that opportunity for them.
I'm not sure I understand the point then of I'm not sure if there's like a disagreement there. I'm not sure I'd agree on your definition of hardcore, but that's semantics, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. I'd also say that Crevasse because I do creative stuff sometimes, so I don't think it's easy to slap such a label on there because I go above and beyond sometimes, but I didn't think Crevasse provided the outlet in order to go for max score. One, because it was arbitrary and roster based, and two, because it wasn't I'm not a big fan of weapon and crystal restrictions, period. Like I'll do a TCC challenge, I'll do a no BT, no synergy thing, but Crevasse and doing a roster check, I'm not quite sure I'd call that hardcore, but I'm still failing to see what exactly the disagreement is here, because it sounds like you're using this as a sort of heuristic to say like, okay, if they sweated for that perfect score, and that's a different discussion entirely, because it was more of a roster check than because you talked about going above and beyond and not using meta, but the 428 point requirement was quite literally a gear check, which is one of those things you were trying to go around at first. See what I'm saying?
No, I'm sorry. Hold on.
So original when we first started off going about your definition of hardcore, you separated the skill-based players who aren't using the meta, and you talked about the gear-based players who are using specific things in the path of least resistance. It's a gear check and bringing the best things for the fight to get it out the way. But the issue with Crevasse as a metric for that is that there was largely only one way to do it in the first place. So where's the creativeness in the meta there when we were very restricted in how you were going to go about that? How does Crevasse go about showing that you're really trying to go about like using different meta and thinking stuff?
Okay, so the actual part where you're figuring that out, because you can't just take, like, Garnet's good, but you just can't take Garnet and crush through Crevasse because,
you
the
can.
lockout.
Are we talking about in the context of max score or just beating it?
In terms of the max score.
Okay, because Garnet solo, pretty much solos whatever stage you run her in. If you run triple green, triple staff.
Yes, we're agreed. By the way, when you said I'm not sure where the disagreement is, I wasn't sure either. But that's where you said something to me. So,
Oh, okay. This sounds. If anything, this just sounds like semantics. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I don't think that it's a good indicator of. However, someone. I mean, that's why I made sure we asked for the definition of hardcore at first.
Right.
Because I'm not quite sure I'd agree with that in the first place. I would just define hardcore as someone who does endgame. I think that's a generally or someone who pays attention to the game and understands the mechanics. I don't. What you're defining is more of I don't know, like a trailblazer of some sorts that goes out and finds new strategies, and I'd say that's beyond the widely agreed definition of hardcore. I mean, if that's your definition, then there's no point in arguing semantics.
Okay.
Grand Ruby in chat, couldn't you simply classify it by doing the hardest content in the game? Yeah, that's what I understood is hardcore, but if you have a different definition, I mean, that's kind of just doesn't matter in the ultimate game of things.
Well, and I was basing my thing because I'm watching all you content creators, and I know that, like, a lot of you are, or, I'm overgeneralizing here, but you're talking about garbage time. Oh, there's nothing to do. This is all too easy. Cetera, stuff like that. And Crevasse, like you said, you take Garnet, crush through it all real simple. But having that at least, I'll say 10 minutes of, how do I get all the max points and stuff like that? Obviously, it was figured out within like the first few days, but at least it was that first few days of figuring that out. So, like, it gave a topic of discussion that, wasn't there prior with all this other content, because it was just like, oh, well, I already know I'm coming into it with, like, several months of already knowing how to beat this thing.
Okay, I understand that, but what's your point, though? Is that some sort of activity? I mean, it was just like, how do I maximize my points? That discussion took like a couple minutes. Like, it's either you got them or you don't.
Right. So I was saying that more to, like, I'm hoping that there's more of it. I didn't, I said, when I said it, I didn't think there was an actual debate topic, but you said I was thinking wrong. So I was like,
yeah, it sounds like we just disagreed on the definition of hardcore.
Okay.
And I honestly think you'd be a little hard pressed to. I think there's already kind of a general established definition of hardcore from what I'm reading in chat. Everyone's seems to agree with the does end game and pays attention to the game. So you seem to be going a bit above and beyond for hardcore, which is probably where the disagreement would. But I guess we kind of ironed that out. Okay, you ready to move on to the other one?
Sure.
Cool. All right. Next, the completion percentage of Transcendence is correlated with the completion percentage of Shinryu.
Yes. So, that one.
Yes.
I suppose there's a trend. Now, in my, like, you obviously know this game better than I do. Shinryu is about, what, the 5th, 6th level of difficulty? It's because it's a difficulty level, right?
Sure.
Okay. So it's like the 5th or 6th difficulty level established within Defo?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So when you look at Transcendence, the only number in the entirety of the game that the game ever gives you is that completion percentage, which you've already said is you take the number of people who've attempted it, and it tells you how many people have actually successfully completed it.
Yes.
That, when you look at that number over the course of a few months, I don't know the exact number, but over the course of X months, climbs up and then plateaus around 50%. Like that's something that you can see on all the different transcendence levels. So unless they're actually changing their business model, they're sticking around to what they want. So if the average climb from Chaos, Cosmos, all those other ones says about 6 months, and then it plateaus at 50%, like because there's at least 4 other examples there where we can actually look and go, oh yeah, that one became 50, that one got to 50, that one got, while the timeline may be a little bit different because Shinryu is harder, you will see that over time it'll just gradually grow until it hits around 50%, and then it'll probably realistically plateau there because that's what all the other difficulty levels have done.
How do you know that 50% of the people who've attempted Shinryu have beaten it?
Because that's what it shows. That's what you just said that it showed.
Wait, no. Transcendence 10 is not all of Shinryu. Are you talking about they've beaten a Shinryu?
Oh. Yeah, because you're talking about the difficulty level. So, I mean, at that point, it's showing that people are starting to gain that capability of beating that level because you have an example of people beating that difficulty level.
Are you implying that I'm very lost here. So you're using Transcendence 7 as a data point and you're extrapolating it to mean they can beat all Shinryu?
Not every.
Is the goalpost beat a Shinryu?
I suppose it is just at this point beating a Shinryu. You're not going to be able to beat every single Shinryu because obviously the mechanics are going to be varying and course stuff like that. But in order, when you say that you're beating the whole difficulty level, that you can beat something at that level. If a person's beaten if they've beaten that transcendence, it shows they can beat something at that level.
No, I'd completely disagree there because Transcendence 10 is a completely different beast from every other Shinryus. That's just they're not related at all. Just because you can beat that fight doesn't mean you're beating other Shinryus. Just like there's people beating Divine Spiritus who don't have the roster to get into Transcendence 10. That alone just throws that out. Because I know people. There's new accounts that are beating Chorus Shinryu and are beating Spiritus Brother Shinryu that can't even touch T10 because of the requirements you got to do in there.
Right, but hold on. So you're saying that there are people who have beaten the Shinryu, or they've beaten the Transcendence.
Transcendence 10. That's the only Shinryu Transcendence so far.
Okay. But they don't have...
I don't know. I'm checking in-game right now, and it's sitting at a whole ass 18% for Transcendence 10. And you're saying the others are all sitting at 50?
The other... actually, the only one... Well, I don't play JP.
So where'd you get the numbers from?
I pulled them from. I looked at the global ones, but I don't know if you look at the ones for the other one, are they all?
You can't extrapolate current global Transcendence numbers if you're using T10 as your basis for Shinryu.
So.
The numbers don't line up, bro. There's no correlation. Okay. They're two completely different fights, and Shinryu as a whole is a completely different difficulty. And and just because people who can beat T10, like T10 is one, the mechanics. Two, it sounds like you're trying to say if you can beat T10, you can beat Shinryu. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, because that's just not true. Because there's people who beat in previous Shinryus and couldn't beat T10. and there's people who beat Shinrys that came after T10 that still can't beat T10. On top of that, there's the roster check because you need a whole good ass 6 units to be able to get in from the sides, unless you like solos and some bullshit. So no, it's just there's just no. Can you give me a reason that would be correlated? Because I can think of examples to go against that. That's the problem. I'm thinking of specific cases that were like, this is clearly like not the case for these people.
Okay. So overall, the like you said, the game is sort of asking that you have that roster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they still set it up for those gear-based people.
Uh-huh.
So,
by the way, tier 6 and JP is at 40% right now. I'm looking at the numbers. Tier 6 is it's just going down and down. Okay, well T7 went back up because that's a joke. T7's at 44%. Tier 8 is at 42%. Tier 9's at 28%, and tier 10 is at 18.
Hold on, say those again. I need to look those.
7 is at 42.
Okay.
8 is at 28. 9, or no, whoops. Subtract all this. 10 is at 18. 9 is at 28. And 8 is at 42.
Okay. What's 6 at?
6 is at 40.
40. Okay. And
18's kind of high. It's because out of the percentage of people who tried, those who beat it.
Okay. So.
Also, yeah, the new players joining from Anniversary throw that data out the water as well. It's just all over the place.
Okay. Because as a usual thing, and maybe I'm just looking at it over time as well, because what was said was eventually everyone gets around to this sort of thing. Like I said, the amount of time differs. So, like, obviously with these new Shinryus, is people are still figuring these things out and building up the rosters and everything like that. So maybe I have that thing because I'm looking at it as an overall instead of just like how it is right now.
So you're talking about over time, because that's also pretty different. Because from your initial statement, it looked like you were speaking of Shinryu difficulty as a whole correlated with just doing Transcendence. And there's a lot of people who play JP saying that tier 10 is a step up, and it's a pretty restrictive fight. So it's already on that basis not a good comparison.
Okay. So.
And just the amount of people who can reroll an account and do Tifa on a Core's fight and the Ferris fight, etc., and do it with Tifa and Core versus the people that can't go back and do those other fights. I don't think this number holds up at all. I'm kind of just not. I don't think your point holds.
Okay. So. All right.
Cool.
I see where, like I said, it's over like right now with it being currently like harder than everything. Yes, I agree, but I suppose I was leaning back on the numbers support that it's always, this hard within this time frame, but it bells out over the time, and the numbers show that, because usually over that time, like if Shinryu's the new difficulty, how long has Shinryu been out? Like 3 months, something like that?
Sure.
But if we have this same conversation, I guess that's where like this game's sort of difference in most things, because like most games, if something's difficult, it stays difficult forever.
No, that's just not true here. Power creep.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I guess that's where like I was disconnected. Is like, then that's a major different thing between like a game like this and most games. Is that like difficulty wise, like I know you hate when people pull 14, but I'm gonna pull 14.
FF14 count plus 1 chat.
Yeah.
Good.
But their ultimate level difficulty I mean, I could use WoW, but so
Yeah.
that ultimate level of difficulty, it's difficult regardless. Over
Yes.
like the amount of time and stuff like that, it stays difficult. This game, that difficulty gets lessened over time, and different units show up and everything like that.
Yes.
So, the numbers will make sense in the sense that over time, it'll show, oh wow, this content got easier.
Yes, but we know that happens because we know there's power creep and stuff gets stronger.
Right.
So
yeah, in terms of how hard this thing is right now, I mean, how hard anything is pretty subjective. It's just harder.
I think we've kind of diverged from your original point now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think that was the only other topic though. So are we good?
Yeah. We're good.
All right. Cool. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
No worries.
I'm gonna go drag TreeVoid in now. Thanks. Have a good night.
All right. You too.
All right, TreeVoid, get your ass. All right. Hello, TreeVoid. We're live. How you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
Good to talk to you, man.
Audio's good?
Audio's
No
great.
issues?
We are live.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So here's let's see. Let's talk about your faves can be trash point first, because I thought that was
Okay.
really
Yeah,
interesting.
that'll be faster.
Okay. Yep.
Because
so
I wrote a lot more.
Oh God, how much did you write?
Okay, it's not that much. It's like 600 words. So not
Dog. 600. Okay.
Listen, I
All
want
right.
to be structured.
I mean, yeah, you're about your stuff. I respect it. It. So your first fave, first point.
Yeah.
Favorites can be trash. Zonde in your case. By the way, subscribe to TreeVoid. Search TreeVoid Defo on YouTube because he's gonna be doing some Zonde copium runs. He does Zonde and Onion Knight runs.
Much more Sunday than Onion Knight.
Yeah.
Onion Knight, I kind of greened and blued to say I greened and blued him.
Yeah.
But Zonde at least has like re-break potential. I don't know. It's got something. Anyways.
Okay, but favorites can be trash. Zonde in your case, but your attitude should be to embrace the trash rather than try and convince people they're good. What are you trying to? I'm a little confused on what your overall point is here.
Okay, so
also please don't read. Just talk to me, man.
Oh, okay, it's fine.
You know what you want to talk about.
Whatever. Yeah. So yes, I am the resident Zonde sim.
Yes.
The only other Zonde person I know is Ludpasta on YouTube, who you should also subscribe to. I'll just plug their channel quickly, Ludpasta. So I get this weird vibe from the community. I don't really know if it's a real thing or if us quote unquote hardcore players like in TCC and cross server and all this are like making these people up. But like the people who defend Chagrin, the people who defend insert shit character here, Onion Knight or whatever, you don't need to. Like this is, and I'll get to this point in my other one. This is a single player game. There's no real competitive aspect to it aside from, I guess, the score system in Crevasse. Like you don't need to like big dick contest yourself with, saying like, oh man, I can get Jegrin to do 500k in the off turd or whatever.
Yes.
Like who the fuck cares, right?
Yes. I
don't really like. I have a shit character, Zonde. I play him. I did a saga with him. I dropped it for a bit because I was kind of getting burnt out because he sucks ass.
Damn.
But you can play it and you can have fun with it if it's as DK was saying, if you do challenge runs to sort of increase your enjoyment of the game,
right? Do
that, but you don't need to then like brag about how great your character is.
So what's the disagreement?
Just embrace the fact that it's trishy. So again, like this one, I wasn't 100% sure if we were going to have a disagreement on this specific point, just because you mentioned it in your Twitter polls as like items that we could discuss.
Okay.
And so this was just one thing. I think we completely agree on this point.
Okay.
I don't know.
I like when that happens.
What I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a disagreement there? Or?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So
cool.
we can just put that aside. You know what? That was my way to simp for Zonde, right? Because he's going to get his BT Plus next week.
Okay, I see what
right?
you're just advertising your channel. I see you
exactly.
hustling. I got you.
I gotta plug it. I gotta plug my what the fuck are they called now? My socials, that's it. I gotta plug my
Yeah,
socials.
hey, I got
Yeah,
you.
there we go. Okay,
Gotcha.
I'm on
Facts.
BC's platform. Gotta hustle.
Hey, all right.
Okay.
Your main
So
thing
the
you want
real,
to talk about
yeah,
though
the real
was
thing I want to talk about.
default endgame content should be more accessible. And to start that off, what are you defining as accessible?
Okay, so there's two main pillars here that I want to discuss.
Oh boy, you got pillars,
So-
man. Come on, make me something
One-
simple, please.
Okay. I'll keep it simple because the first one kind of I got fucked over because of how JP decided to do anniversary shit
I see.
with their. Sorry if I'm cursing too
No,
much. By
please.
The way. I don't know. Okay,
Swear.
okay.
I don't care.
Okay, so in terms of accessibility of endgame content, there's two things there are two factors. One is getting to the end game. So how easy is it from new player start, the mythical new player, to being able to clear your first Lufenia Plus or Shinryu or whatever, whatever the most current difficulty is. And then the second point is how quote unquote easy is it to beat, the most recent fight. And aside from that, what options does the game provide the player to be able to clear said content? So in terms of the first point here of how easy is it to get to endgame, in terms of the new player rewards in JP, I actually know more than for global right now. But it seems like you're getting like a metric fuck ton of like every resource, just vaguely. So it seems to be rather accessible now compared to before when you had to level.
In the realm of getting your characters up to speed.
Getting your characters up to speed.
Now,
not necessarily having a full roster of 30 characters.
I'm not quite sure I would define the speed. Speed of getting into endgame, provided you can build it. I'm not quite sure I'd call that accessibility. There's probably a better word for it, but I'll roll with accessibility for on that.
So the reason why I'm using this term, and forgive me for
dude, if you apologize one more time, I'm gonna kick you out. Just talk, man. Just talk. I swear to God.
I gotta see. Okay, I gotta bring up 14 though.
Oh, okay. Then you okay?
Yeah.
Apology
Yeah, so I do need your blessing here. In this case.
FF14 count too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna bring it up a lot here.
God.
Or WoW.
Mino's gonna have a stroke.
It's a live service example, and it's the one that I'm most aware of. So that's the only reason why. You could do it with any other live service game.
Okay.
But let's say you are a WoW player who's leaving WoW, and you want to play FF14, and you don't give a fuck about the story. All you want to do is the endgame raids. Well, Square has an option for you. It's called a jump potion or whatever. And there's two different jump potions, one for your character level and one for story skipping. Okay? So two separate things you have to buy from Square Enix, so they monetize it, and then you can get close to endgame. You still have to do the last expansion's worth of story and level your characters, the most recent 10 levels, but it's a way to get towards endgame, right? Yes. So I think that makes the game more accessible for people who have a specific mindset in mind.
Okay, so
right?
you're saying that going back to the potential, I want to make sure we're actually disagreeing first. Yeah, you're saying the time to get a character going should be shortened.
Yes, I think the whole point of this game is to pull characters and do said content, right? I don't think Square wants people to spend a month getting your roster up to date, grinding crystal levels, grinding summon boards, and all this bullshit that the game has due to bloat of being 4 or 5 years old. I think they just want people to be able to pull and then do the event. I think this is a fairly simple logic stream, right?
I'm going to disagree with pull and do the hardest event, because that takes some time. That I mean, like practice wise. So so I think we will not disagree on the building part, because that can be pretty tedious. I think it's in Square Enix's best interest to make that at least take a decent chunk of time so you get invested in the game. So I'm not quite sure I'd I'm not quite sure I'd give you that. Like, I'm not quite sure it'd be easier or better for the game if we were to, like, there's obviously some bloat. Like there was a point where it took years to build a character, and obviously there should be a reasonable time to build a character, but it should take you some time to like get acquainted with the game, because what you shouldn't assume is that the person who is building the character quickly is able to be skilled enough to actually understand what's going on at the end. So
Yeah.
if we assume, it's easy for us to put in our shoes, like, okay, if we were to start a new account, we know how to play the game. So we jump in, build a character, and then we know how to do fights. We understand break bonus, turn manipulation, character kits, etc. But the new player, the person who doesn't understand the game, probably wouldn't even get that at that point. Additionally, on top of that, they haven't even decided that they want to be an end game at that point, because they're just trying out the game, you know. So unless you're arguing from the point of a character who is already skilled enough and maybe starting a new account, I don't know, dog. It seems like that's just the natural progression to playing the game.
No, okay, so let's see here. Where do I want to start? So I agree with you completely, right? That
Okay.
if I were to, actually, I don't need to use myself. We can use Mark because he did it.
Okay.
So Mark, TCC podcast on vacation. Hope you enjoyed your vacation,
Yeah, shout
Mark.
out to Mark.
Just created a JP account and
Mhm.
cleared the most recent Spiritus event
Yeah.
in like a day, right?
Yes.
So what I first sort of brought here in terms of being able to get to endgame content is that you have the capability of doing so.
Oh,
Right? Mark
okay.
did not have to spend, I don't know how long it takes,
not,
however many
not long.
days
People have
to
been doing
level.
compilation videos of them branding up a Tifa and then blowing stuff up.
Right, exactly. So before all the quality of life, Mark did not have to spend weeks leveling up your characters, doing your summon boards, doing all this bullshit. Now, maybe because Tifa's so overpowered,
Yeah.
you know, you don't need all that. But I'm just saying in general, like they've culled a lot of the getting your account up to speed.
Okay. So I think
Okay.
we would agree that there should be a reasonable amount of time to build up a character. You don't want to spend a lot of time building characters. You'd rather spend it playing the game. Am I right on that?
I think players should have the option to skip that if they would like to.
And they did start doing that with the was it the anniversary. They had those in GL where you could pay for wild points, right? And then
Yes.
there's Mod Pass. I mean, that's really the only grind you got to do, right? Summon boards.
Yeah, summon boards are the main one because they leveled you up, and leveling up isn't too much of an issue.
So we do
I mean,
have
there's
Mod Pass in
armor
that regard.
tokens. There's you have to level up your armor. You have to level up your weapons. You have like all this bullshit.
So if
You have to do your
if anything, you mean
CP15 armor. Yeah.
So they
All
should
the
streamline
flow.
that process, because okay, if we're talking about that, like assuming you've got everything out the way and then you've paid for your Mod Pass, and then you have enough tokens. I mean, they don't like selling. So that's a different discussion on the monetization. They don't like selling a lot of stuff in this game for some reason. But I think we're in agreement on that first part, on the gear based part. Like it could probably be better.
Yeah.
I don't think we disagree there.
So I might introduce an aspect of disagreement then.
Okay.
I think they, with this game specifically, I don't know why. We've said it all. You just said it. They hate our money.
They do hate our money.
They could have monetized this into, and this is why I brought up 14 earlier.
Yeah.
Into a boost potion or whatever, some sort of bundle that you buy.
I don't want to go too deep down the monetization rabbit hole because I think we're largely agreeing still.
Okay.
So let's focus on the disagreements.
So that's that aspect of it. Well, would you agree that because this will bleed into my next point?
Okay.
Are you okay if they had, instead of giving away all this, they had put a bundle for, let's say, $50 and it maxes out all your characters' summon boards? You just buy it and it's done.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah. Okay. So then there's no disagreement. I think they should do that. I think the Chocobo tokens are a good first step, but I think they're overpriced compared to what you're getting.
Yeah, they did just do that with the new tokens. Chat saying that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's focus on the easy
think
part, because that's how easy it is to beat endgame. And what I'm gonna guess your point there. Do you mean like the featured character should be able to demolish stuff more consistently?
So actually, no. I think Square should be a lot more scummy about this. Because this is a free-to-play mobile game, and they need to make their money. So I think, and this is the reason why I actually joined the community. So quick history lesson: when Joe made his video over the summer of how he didn't really like the direction of the game was going, and synergy stomping was too overpowered, there was a ranting hour 25,
Wow,
that Mina was on.
you really studied up. Jesus
I
Christ.
re-
I don't remember
I-
what I
I
said.
got-
You know more about what I
got
said
my
than I
notes
mean.
ready,
Jesus.
okay? I am prepared for this conversation.
Receipts.
So Mina was on, and he had a lengthy disagreement here with Joe, and then I created a rather long YouTube response.
You
Whatever,
did?
basically the whole. Yeah, that's how I joined the community.
Really?
We had this long YouTube discussion, then I joined the TCC Discord server, and then you guys gave me my own floor. Regardless, anyways,
Yeah.
the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I personally want much more difficult content in the game, and so I think Synergy is too overtuned. I think Synergy is a way of introducing an easier mode for players, but I don't think it's appropriate, and especially with the way we're going to be going into garbage time. I think they have overtuned everything. I think Garnet is a great example of a character designed horribly in terms of game balance. Like worse than RNA, right? So we say they're the best character, and I would agree. And I think that being the best is inherently being the worst for the state of the game, because does it provide an easier way for quote unquote mythical new player to beat content? In theory, yes. I think Eiko is a much better way of doing that, where she increases the skill floor while not necessarily trivializing old content. Because if you're bad at the game, you can't, like as you said in your video, you can just die. Eiko doesn't stop you from dying 9 times if you don't know what you're doing. Right.
I want to make sure we're focusing on the disagreement, though.
Okay.
I'm a little lost now.
Okay.
I don't.
So
you don't want to. You don't.
I
what
want
do you
characters tuned down. That's my primary thing. I think the BT Plus era is a mistake in terms of difficulty or strength character tuning. Obviously, the hat. It's out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag. I don't know the saying.
Yeah, close enough.
Whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So they've released the beast. I think, going forward, they should tune down characters so that content is more difficult, including Synergy. And I think the way they should create an easier way of playing the game for new players is.
I know. Is this new players or unskilled players?
Whatever.
No, because there's a difference. There's a difference.
Okay. People who can't clear content.
Okay.
People who can clear the most difficult content. I'll be very specific here, because we have new. I'm not going to say they're new, but we have players like Red Cane in TCC who is really trying and learning, and these are great. I love seeing these players in the community. I want more of them, right?
Yes. So what is it that you want the game to change?
Okay. So I will preface this by saying that I would only suggest this for a free-to-play mobile gacha game. I think on every single banner, there should be, as a 300G token alternative to the LD, there should be a Kupo coin. And when you buy this Kupo coin, what it does is for that event, it's event-specific, Mog will show up into the fight, and he will flash his wand or whatever, do an animation, and the Lufenia orb or the Shinryu bar or whatever the difficulty gimmick is will be paused or nullified, right? Because you can pause the Shinryu bar, I'm pretty sure that's a thing, right? You can stop it from going up if you meet certain conditions. I'm asking you a question here.
Wait, yeah, it depends on what you're doing.
Okay, but that is a feature that is available in the game.
Sure.
Correct?
Yeah, you can pause force gauges too.
Okay, and you can pause Lufenia gauges. I don't know why they abandoned that mechanic.
Yeah.
Regardless, so you can pause them.
So pay to win a fight. That's what you want? You want the ability to pity a W?
I want you to be able to pity a W.
But isn't the point of beating the fights the rewards?
For some people.
So
yes,
why not just buy the rewards?
Because there are people who we have seen on the Reddit, on whatever, the Facebook Malders, who scream whenever they can't beat a fight, and they say the game is broken, it's bullshit, it's cheating. But they want to get the clear, and they're happy now that they have Garnet because it's the first time in 6 months or whatever that they can clear content. I don't like that they are designing characters that are so overtuned that they can carry players through, right? And Garnet, as we've been saying, is like a 6-month investment. I think this is bad game design and bad monetization strategy for Square. They've obviously determined that overpowered global firsts make them a lot of money. That's why they keep doing it.
Journalism.
Right? But I disagree with it in terms of the health of the game for what our hardcore player base, I'm doing air quotes here.
Yeah, gem revives. You can gem revive through stuff.
Sure, you can do gem revives or whatever.
No, I'm saying that already exists.
Yes. I'm not disputing that, but I think having a option within the game that can let people think they're doing better than they are, right? Lie to bad players who want to stay bad and don't want to learn. I think we should give them the option to have that. Because again, this is a free-to-play game, and it's single player. It benefits none of us if the DE transcendence clear rate is 100% or 5%, right? If the content is engaging and fun, I think that is what we should want out of the game, not if bad players can't beat the game. Right.
CSAM for $5. Haven't there always been characters that can carry you to a W? Usually.
Yes. I'm not disputing that point. I'm saying I dislike that feature.
I think I'm just a little. So you want to be able to trick people into thinking they won by giving them a cheat button?
No, it's not tricking them. They're doing, like, you're spending 300 G tokens or 500, let's say, if you want to do it for the whole cycle, just a theory. You're investing, and let's say, I don't like Ali, say, but I can't beat her fight. And then you pull and you pull and you pull and you say, oh, fuck, I don't want to pull Ali, say, I hate 14. And then here's an option. You just want to get past this fight. You're molding.
So you're prioritizing the complete. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure if I necessarily disagree. I mean, we could. It's more of a discussion over monetization and stuff, or how effective that might be. But I'm not sure I'd explicitly disagree with that. It'd more be just like a thing they could do. Maybe I'm not quite sure how to debate that. It's just an idea. I mean, it's not really an opinion. I mean, if you're saying accessible, you want completes to be accessible.
Yes, I want completes to be accessible because we need to be very specific in terms of what we mean by clearing content, right? So what my definition is you get the complete, right? And then all the things check off where, you get the health score or whatever, right? You clear the event. It's not a clear, it's a complete. And if players get that, right, through an alternative means, that, could squeeze some money out of these fucking free-to-play, leashes.
Jesus. I didn't expect you to be the villain.
Listen. I want Square to get money out of these people, right?
Well, let me go back around that, because Square is getting money out of them because they could start wailing for characters so they could try and beat it by giving them an easy clear button. That's actually, it sounds like a money loss. I want to make sure we're staying like on an actual, because I don't think we disagree necessarily. You want them to make it harder to, you want them to make it easier to pay to win.
Yes, I want them to make it easier to pay to win and make it harder for free to play. I want them to turn up the difficulty, right? Because
then we don't disagree. That's what I was thinking of. I don't think we disagree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So you want the game to be hard.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess
perfect.
we agreed on both points. Cool.
Yes. Okay. So
Awesome.
we didn't actually have a disagreement. Thank
Cool.
you so much for having me on.
Yes. You've been great.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you so much, everyone in chat.
Yes.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye. YouTube.
All right, this is the part where I let me mute everyone in here because I know they're talking right now. Actually, how do I do this? Because they're talking, so if I jump back in here, you guys can't hear them. I'm back. You guys are live right now. You're not talking right now, but I'm about to turn your guys' mics back on. You guys ready? Okay. Hi. That took a little longer than I thought, but I did warn you.
Are we doing the ranting minute now?
They can do the ranting. Suck my dick. How about that?
I'm good.
It's all good. A small confession: I hadn't actually even started Equinox, so while that was happening, oh yeah, I've been doing it. I've been ignoring all the mechanics.
He's doing a best, not. Oh no, it is Equinox. Never mind. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're guiding him through Equinox.
I see. Fucking scrub. I want to say thank you again to DK and TreeVoid for stepping up to the plate, because most of y'all in chat are pussy and wouldn't step up and argue something. That takes a lot of courage to get on mic and talk like that. It's incredibly nerve-wracking, especially because I told them not to look at chat because y'all were talking shit. But yeah, shout out to them for trying. Not that they didn't do it. Not saying anything either way, but at least they tried. It was engaging and interesting. What do you guys think about Abyss? Yes, it's so sick. Why did the Chaos waste so much time?
Chaos was a total waste of time.
Total waste of time.
Wouldn't it have been better if they literally just released the green staff floor and like there were no substrata? Just don't even put them, right?
The Chaos was such a giant waste of time. Oh my god.
I'm going to say right now, I love Abyss. I love Abyss for one really key reason, that it made me not regret pulling Xande, which is incredible.
Wow.
Bravo.
Wow.
I'm curious. So this came up last week when Mino was on and you guys were talking Crevasse, right? And you guys were saying that my preference, which I never confirmed, by the way.
Whatever Mino represented. Mino is the king of misrepresenting people, so I don't know what he was talking about.
For sure.
So that's on him.
So my viewpoint with Crevasse that I really liked was that you had customizable codes. I never ever fucking wanted deal 300k wind damage or whatever he said I wanted from like the Von Test Abyss and JP. I've never wanted that. I like that Crevasse had those customizable codes, and you said that you preferred like you shouldn't create challenges via the codes. You should create challenges via the boss mechanics, right?
Right.
So did Abyss, like, was that better for you versus, because Abyss, like the green staff floor legit had varied bosses that forced you to build different team comps that locked out your roster in the same way that Crevasse did, but it didn't have the build your own code, but it had notably different boss mechanics across the board. Did you like that more than Crevasse?
No, because I still felt stupid getting gated by my weapon types when that had no bearing on what my team could do. I just don't think I can ever like it, because as soon as I sat down and did Equinox, and I'm like, let me just run a good team. Like, that was just it. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm cool. Although, to be fair, it was a bunch of fights at once, which is why I probably felt. I think the Equinox formula of build up to a couple fights that build up to some lower difficulty. I mean, Transcendence is the same thing. Like, do some like lower difficulty fights and like build an interesting team, and then get something ready for the middle. I think that's the winning formula. All the weapon stuff, I just don't like it.
I don't know about you guys, but for Equinox, I literally did the Gators first. Like, I did the hardest fights first, and then I did the 200s on the side, like the base loofs, and then I did like the crap in the middle. That's why I have the needle snakes left. I haven't had time to run them, but I definitely did the Gators first, and I just threw Garnet there and like smashed the crap out of it.
Yeah, I mean, Garnet trivialized the fight.
Well, so is it potential that? And I was curious and my dog's running back and forth in the backyard barking, but is it possible? Do you guys feel like either Crevasse or Abyss was more fun because there was no friend? Because you can basically, for the Equinox, you can use Garnet Friend, and she will blow up 50%
I think
of
that
their
was
HP bars.
I was talking to Nidre about this earlier. I think the lockouts, but letting you use the friend unit is kind of just they're shooting themselves in the foot letting you do that.
Yeah, like I wish that Equinox didn't have the friend unit available.
That kind of put a hole in the lockouts. Because is there any other lockout content we had that lets you use a friend? I don't think there is.
I can't think of anything.
I mean, unless you count heretics.
I don't.
But
those aren't real.
Like
yeah.
heretics from like 50s and 60s era were actually challenging.
Yeah, but now the fact that you could Garnet friend through a lot of those fights, because like it was funny. I think part of the reason the other fights in the Equinox felt better was because they had actual mechanics, like the Medusas were still threatening. The needle stakes you had to, although that needle snakes had a backward ass aura because you had to deal with the fuck you period on that. So I don't know what was going on there. But the count steams, like I got smacked because I forgot about the whole no debuffs and they attack the highest HP thing. So I had to like do a team around that, and I had to just use my roster without getting gated by something like arbitrary, like crystals or stuff. So but then you could also just Garnet friend through a lot of it, like say if you had green. So I think they would have landed if they just didn't let us use friend units.
I still think it was fun though. Like I still had fun. It's possible that it's really fun with so if you let the bosses get a turn and you make a team to deal with the content and then you bring Garnet Friend in at 50% and have her just murder them.
Yeah.
I think that is fun. You're building a team for just dealing with like the mechanic once. And there's something to that, but like the whole idea of bringing Garnet in and zero turning, like I think Quetz did that, where he's like, yeah, this was easy. I just used Garnet Friend. I zero turned every single boss. And you can do that. I feel like that's the fact that that's accessible is potentially a failure. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I disagree. I think
Like,
it means
enabling zero turn.
that you have really shitty team comps on the portraits underneath the quest when you've done it. And no one's going to know that you used Garnet, or they're going to suspect it. But they can't prove. They can't prove that you did. You could just say, any old shit. It's, I did some really big brain Excalibur strategy. Just didn't make a video for it. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that's all of my runs, by the way. I big brain, all of them.
I'm reading someone in my comments getting offended by good players get the weapon. I don't know anymore, bro.
Yeah, I think this was a good. I mean, I think that you probably could no turn things. I mean, like, I think that like no turning is just very, very strong in this game most of the time, unless they put really huge countermeasures against it. I think that I would say that the Equinox is probably the most fun from a fight-to-fight standpoint.
I agree with that.
I think that I enjoyed Crevasse the most in total because it was like something very new that I had to like figure out. But I think I think Crevasse was a little tuned personally. And I should give the caveat here that I didn't do like a perfect score thing.
On Equinox. Or wait, Crevasse. I'm getting my name.
You said it. Yeah. Crevasse was undertuned or overtuned? Sorry.
I thought it was undertuned. Well, it's not really undertuned per se because like, I think that they were trying to give newer folks a chance. Whereas, like, again, this might be a little bit of like, oh, what is the new player doing? But I think as a newer player, I think you'd have the most challenge with the most recent one with Equinox of the three of them that we have.
Those orbs and boss mechanics are ridiculous for not beating them with a bad team and no Garnet. What are we defining as no Garnet? No Garnet as a friend? Because I think Garnet friend helped like trivialize the crux. Everything else, I don't know. I think I did most of them without a friend, except that last one.
I say the way you like add a perfect cherry on top to the Crevasse event is just have like what was the maximum score again? Was it like 428? Yeah. So on the 428 cap,
420.
Just give the player an exclusive status badge, just something to say, look, I did this.
Nah,
like
it was
anything.
Getting max score was bullshit. I don't think that means anything.
They set the bar for like the peak reward a bit too low, I would say.
I do agree with that.
Yeah. We need more status badge flexing. I think for this sort of content.
I think I didn't watch the stream, but I remember Nino said that Josh said that they purposely undertuned it a little.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, they're just trying to figure it out, and I think it is a more difficult thing to tune because of like the mix and match nature of the orbs, and like that you would have really restrictive codes going on instead of like for this, where you have just the green staff restriction. For Equinox, all you have is lockout restriction. So it probably should be a little bit easier than the others, but it felt like quite a bit easier. And so I think that, like, to me, for a wide variety of reasons, I think that the Equinox events are kind of the most exciting one, most engaging one.
Also, shout out to bringing the ghost back in the Abyss and making it worse.
So
crackhead devs, bro. I swear to God, they don't play.
So what I wish they did was get rid of the launch orb, because if they just had the one orb, and I know there are people that probably cleared it only using the launch orb, and they, like I think Jin Lee did that. He did like a Tifa team and rushed down the boss or whatever.
I found it easier just to kill it.
if you. Like, I maxed Snow specifically for that fight. I've had Snow LD rotting in my inventory, not maxed, because I was saving power stones for the FR era.
This guy.
Oh, no. But Snow was perfect for the bears.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. I think I used Snow on the Alisei one, maybe? I definitely used him.
Snow upticked the orb on his turn.
Yeah,
which is nuts, because like most of the effects for that
ace on that. That's why
for that orb requirement. Well, I mean, I didn't have ace, so I needed to use my brain a bit. But like most effects that proc that orb occur on the boss's turn. So if you want to do something where like the boss doesn't take much turns or any, you'd need something the all reliable, which is what Snow was in that case.
Yeah, these make you value ace a lot more. I already did, but I still value
green. Yeah, ace was.
Ace has been graced.
Green stonks. Through the roof.
Ace is freaking awesome. But yeah, I maxed Snow specifically for the ghost fight because I was struggling with the launch only comp. I was trying to use Kais, and I think Kais is awful for the fight, which is garbage because he's featured on it. But dude, the fight was like fun and engaging. Albeit I was using Garnet LD. I didn't have her BT, but Garnet LD, obviously she makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And either way, going the Brave reduction route was actually way more fun. It wasn't nearly as frustrating because if the ghost came back and summoned his peeps, it didn't matter because they were dead in like freaking 3 or 4 turns because of Garnet and Snow.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that was actually fun.
Yeah.
I just wish they got rid of the launch orb, because that leads you down a path of not fun.
They could have done anything else for that orb, but it just had to be launched. Just had to be launched.
Never ever make a fucking orb. This is so dumb to make an orb that, and we shouldn't talk about. I guess it's Abyss, not Crevasse, but you should never make an orb that then at a point in the fight it becomes immune to how you tick up the orb. That should never be a thing. Otherwise, just change the orb. Like, do which Transcendence is it where they change the orb? Like, change the orb and make it a boss rush, right?
8, yeah, with the concept on 8 that didn't work because we had too much.
I was told, but I didn't do it myself, but I was told that if you launch the it's the ticked up.
You cut out every half second there. You want to try it again?
Yeah, I was told by somebody that when you launch the ads, that also counts the orb up. I didn't try it, but
it does.
I've been told
it
that.
Does.
So it's still tickable, after a certain point.
Tickable is not the word I expected to hear today.
Increasable?
It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't really work. And again, it's annoying that Kais is featured. And if you're not launching, like, Kais is garbage. He's awful. His skill 1 is okay. It deals like 300 or 400k now, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's your favorite of the 3, by the way?
3 what? Of the 3 events? Well, I already said that. The one that I'd be looking forward to the most in the future is Equinox, but But I think Crevasse is really cool too.
Yeah, Crevasse had legs, but I'm never gonna like the weapon and crystal restrictions, so I get to -1. And Abyss just was wasting our time. Ink, what was your rankings of them all?
I would. So if there was no chaos in Abyss, I would probably rank it top. I enjoy weapon lockouts a lot, personally.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. But yeah, Crevasse takes it, and then Equinox, and then Abyss. Like, it drops Abyss all the way to the bottom, that they wasted our time with those chaos fights. Because there's a bunch of them. It's like 6 chaos fights.
The launch support isn't going to be great when you're not launching.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Why would you feature? I'm so glad they fixed the wave 2 of the Abyss co-op that was immune to, not Abyss co-op, Equinox co-op.
They made me bust out my 3X bucks on that co-op. I had enough.
Too. Yeah, I had enough. I got to get out of here. That was my philosophy.
They really need to fix. It's like the Lon and Rain event problem, right? Where the bosses dance in front of you and you're just sitting there waiting. It's terrible.
I see.
But
chat, let me know what you guys are saying. Theologica says Crevasse, Equinox, Abyss. Barry, saying,
I agree.
Crevasse, Equinox, Abyss. I don't know. I just don't like the weapon shit. I can't get behind it.
I think I'm about to upset everyone here, because I would put Abyss at the top.
The fuck up. What were you saying, Nietzsche?
I agree that I think that I was thinking about it this earlier today. Like, why do I not like the color codes and the weapons so much? The weapons, I think, are the worst because they're so imbalanced in terms of the numbers.
It does fuck over. Like Quistis and like whips, guns, bows get ceremoniously dicked unless they're on the banner, and that's no fun.
But even crystal colors are, those are pretty even groups. But I still don't like those, and the reason that I don't like them is because it's kind of like if you remember, like, going to gym class in school. And, like, you would have the same captains every time, and they'd pick the exact same teams. I'm tired of running, like, these green crystal people together, these blue crystal people together. I just think it's like, find a new slam. That's how I feel.
Crevasse did better with that because you weren't running the same combination.
The problem is this issue stems all the way back to Golbez, right? So they made this decision to just have Element in Peril overwrite everything in terms of typing weakness, etc. So they can't really design fights where, like, you have to bring people of a certain weapon type. So if it's like, you've got to respect that they're immune to ranged and physical. Oh, I'll just bring all my staff users kind of thing because they all do magic. I don't think please don't be a physical staff. I don't think there is a physical staff user, right?
Weapon type.
We good.
Too.
No, Raijin's a spear.
It's fucking
but
stupid.
Yeah, so because of that, they have. Like, that's really their only metric to like restrict weapon typing, in a sense. So, in other words, Golbez was a mistake. There we are.
The thing is, VC, if you just used, let's say you go back through Crevasse, right?
Yes.
And you totally ignore the fact that there's codes that have points or whatever, and you just look at the fight. You pick a team, and then you just pick whatever codes match that team, right? And you didn't focus on the crystal colors or anything, and you just built teams to take on the bosses. I bet that you'd still get 300 points.
In this current Crevasse?
Yeah.
No. Just no. I've got 301 because I was dicking around the whole time. And once I started, I was reading, I'm like, oh shit, I should try and at least do 2 of a color at once because I might whiff the points. I was very close. So it's actually very possible to not just build around the fight and get it, just because there weren't that many things to choose from. So I mean, I think at minimum if they raise the point requirement, but they also make it easier to bring other things that aren't on banner necessarily, because if you want to bring a bow, like, you just got no points. Like, at least give us a little something, but then raise the bar. Like, make the people who fit the codes be able to do less. I think they should lean more into that.
Make the people who fit the codes.
Yeah, so
work
like I had to
less.
do all 7 fights to get 301 because I played so badly, and I think they should lean more into that. Like if you want to just beat the fights, then you could get a decent amount of rewards. But I'm going somewhere with this, but my brain's all over the place.
Well, so this is why when I said that I like adding on restrictions, if they allowed you to tweak things like the amount of brave gain reduction or the amount of brave damage reduction, or that you locked out debuffs being like they made debuff immune enemy, and you got to choose one of these modifiers and you ranked them based on hard, for sure. Like, look, if you lock out debuffs on an enemy and you can't debuff them, you can make a team to get through that, sure, but a lot of teams will struggle, right? Like, it's not, you can't hit weakness damage anymore, right? Unless you use Jekt or Vaughn, right? Like, or Bartz. You can't do it anymore. So, like, you can create these modifiers that actually make the fight harder. So that I feel would work, right? You're not using codes, you're not restricting teams.
Unfortunately, they bake a lot of that stuff in the bosses already.
You were kind of tantalizingly close to this, too, because they could have made the orbs that you pick not all be the same number of points, because they sure as hell weren't the same difficulty.
I agree. Like
the break one is much harder than the break one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree there.
And especially given dealing water or thunder enchant, like that's easy. There's lots of enchanters that you can carry a BT plus, like use the BT plus to get enchanted and like just destroy that fight. Yeah, they definitely. I was actually surprised. So I have my one quip is that they have a default Lufania orb. That's so dumb. Why is there a default Lufania orb that's worth 0 points, which is I think it's deal 500,000 damage in one turn?
Well, because those are the orbs that they sold the fight with. Those orbs were usually pretty easy to do on their own fights. It's just if you went off the beaten path, then you got...
No, I'm pretty sure there's a default, the same orb for all of them. But you pick an orb to overwrite it, and you get plus 20 for that. If you don't edit the code at all, it's always the same. I think maybe it's.
I'm pretty sure it's different. I could check. I'm pretty sure it's different at base for each of the fights.
Okay. If it's different, I'll stand down on it. But it's just weird that they even bothered with that, right? Like if you're gonna use the default orb, give it a point value. Give it 10 points. Like plus 0 for the default Lufania orb, and then you're going to overwrite that with break for plus 20. Like the point totals should vary.
I think the point was you got rewarded for going off the beaten path, and they gave an orb as a predefined path, so they're not going to. Because if you have no orb by default, then that's just chaos with more reductions, which is pointless. The orb.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think the thing that I would really like, this is the easy thing for me to say, I suppose. And obviously, I think this was the greatest strength of all the events. Really, in a nutshell, lock out this, you change the lockouts on that, here's these codes, this one doesn't have any codes. At the end of the day, I think the real victory here and the lesson that they should take away is, what if events had more than one hard fight? Wouldn't that be nice? Like that in and of itself. Basically, for me, when I rank like the different types of content in my head, like the different types of events and how engaging they are, I just basically rank them in how many difficult fights. And spoiler alert, most of the ones in JP only have one hard fight ever. So if I were a JP player right now, I'd be pretty mad. I'd be like, GL's getting these great events. Meanwhile, we have like this dumb horse that like does a lot of mechanics, or like this thing that you just counter, right? I don't know how many JP players pay attention to GL
for doing the harder fights, obviously, and that might mess with their reward economy, which is the other side of that. But I agree, because it's part of the interesting part of this was that we got to do multiple fights at once. I agree with that, and it kept us engaged for a bit longer.
I mean, I think like what I would really love to see is, and this was kind of interesting because we had an Equinox with 5 events instead of 3. Now they were different difficulties, sure, but like, what if there was an Equinox with 10 fights in it? Then you'd really have to kind of be, when you get near the end, you'd be like really trying to figure out what's going on.
Dog. That's too many lockouts.
It's a lot, yeah, but you'd be going and putting like all sorts of old shit out of your bag.
I think 5 is probably pushing it.
I agree though that if they changed the typical event and actually made like a slight change, like maybe they had, you know how the first enemy you fight in any event is different, and then they get to the main enemy and like the level 20, 30, 40, and 50 fights, like make a Lufania Garuda or something, right? Like throw another enemy with an orb and make it difficult or interesting, and make it 2 difficult fights. That's why story used to be amazing, like back in the EX era, because stories were not auto plus through content stomp everything. It was, oh shit, I need a physical team for this. And you're like, okay, I guess my best physical character for the longest time was frickin' Quistis. She was my best physical attacker for months because I skipped so many characters during that time. And I had to make things work with like Quistis. It was hella fun to try to figure out those puzzles in story. And it wasn't like there was ever meta that's like, oh, you needed Puja for the magic thing. You could use you had to figure, it was very team building dependent, because level 110 fights used to be difficult. 120 was the hardest, 110 was still challenging. But there's right now it's level 250 or bust,
yeah, that
right?
did get lost in translation with the new difficulties. Stuff got kind of just power crept. I mean, there's good and bad, because sometimes I don't think I could stand up. I don't think I could deal with doing multiple fights like this often. I think like maybe like once every 2 months, like Transcendence is good enough for me. They mix it up like that, but there's definitely a balance.
I asked this for the podcast, but whatever. Would you guys rather have what we have now, which is 3 events that are all like bespoke new to GL, 3 events back to back? Would you rather have this once every 6 months, or would you rather have 1 unexpected fight every 2 months? Like, what's the spacing that you think would be the most enjoyable?
Well, Equinox has only happened every 3 months, right? Is that how they're doing them? I actually don't know what the fuck an Equinox is. What the fuck is an Equinox?
Equinox is like when the duration of the day and the night are the same, like daylight and sun.
Oh, so it only happens twice a year, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's lame.
There's a autumnal equinox and.
I see.
Yeah, I would say more spread out would be better rather than concentrated.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think if it would be pretty cool if they actually took the time to add Abyss or add something like just once every 2 months, Abyss or Equinox or Crevasse.
I don't know.
I think that's a winning formula.
Fights,
honestly, I'd kill for like a GL exclusive fight that isn't just a fight that already exists in JP with some random restriction applied to it, like a genuine new boss that's never been seen before, which we kind of got.
I'm not
with
holding any. I'd rather
GL first characters.
Fights. Please just recycle fights.
That's what the French refer to as a cringe.
What? What did you just say? Oh my god! Oh my god! All right, we're wrapping up. I don't think I can take this anymore. Oh my god! Why did you think that was okay? God, I really just want to kick you right now. Jesus, Neclord, closing thoughts. Don't repeat. Oh, God, I'm sick.
I can't wait for Xenos this month.
Oh, please die. All right, Nidre, closing thoughts, please.
I don't know closing thoughts.
Okay, good. Jesus, Inkwelder, help me.
Shit, I don't have closing thoughts. Right? Don't feed your dog pate. That shit doesn't work.
Okay, you guys are all on Molly.
Dude, if I was on Molly, this last half would be so much more entertaining.
I just got whiplash from Neclord. Jesus. I don't know what's wrong with you. All right, closing thoughts. Again, thank you to TreeVoid and DK for stepping up to the plate. Monitoring a debate is also a skill that I don't have, but I have areas to improve, but it was a good talk regardless. I'm exhausted. Xenoblade fucking Chronicles 3. That's the tweet right there. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, because I'm about to be talking about that nonstop. Jesus, I don't know. I think this BT cycle was a success. Someone go clip up our doubts for not expecting a BT cycle, because I'm sure that would be fun to go retrospect on, because I don't think anyone believed it. Although it wasn't Xenos, so I think we objected to the BT cycle because people were convinced it was going to be Xenos, and it wasn't Xenos, so I think that's a W for everyone except those people that we don't like. Navarre is ugly. And I'm going to end the stream now. Thanks everyone for coming through. Good